Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm gonna be ranking these fruits from Blox fruits as there has been many updates and I figured to do an updated version. So let's just get right into the video. So firstly we got the kilo fruit. Now the kilo fruit is very bad, like the value is low and there's just no one uses it, so like it has to go to D tier. I'm sorry for all those kilo lovers, but it's bad. Next thing up, we got spin. Now spin is also bad, no one uses it, the value is very low and it's just not a good food for grinding or anything. It's basically the same as kilo. That's it, it's D tier. Next up, we got chop fruit. Now chop fruit is also quite low value, but it's not that bad as it's immune to sword damages, so because of that reason it's quite good for PvP, which makes it a little bit higher than D tier, so it goes to B. Next we got spring. Spring food is bad as well, low value, nothing special about it. Yeah, it just has to go to D tier. It's just bad. Now we got bomb. Now bomb is actually quite decent. Before the update it was very bad, but after the reworks, bomb is actually quite decent. Not for grinding, but definitely for PvP. So I don't really know if it's capable for B tier, so it'll go to C tier. Next up we got smoke. Now smoke is actually very underrated. Now the reason I say this is because yeah, smoke was bad before the rework, but after the rework, I swear bro, when I tried smoke it was very good for grinding, and because of that I honestly think it should go to A tier because it's such a low value fruit, but it's actually very good and underrated. So yeah. Next up we got spike. Now spike is honestly bad as well. After the update it wasn't really anything, so I think it's just D tier again. Now we got flame. Now flame is very good. Before the rework it wasn't even bad, but after the rework it basically just got even better, and because of that I think it deserves an A tier. Now next up we got falcon. Now falcon, I don't think there has been a rework to it, and you know, no one really uses falcon, but falcon does have flight, and the flight is actually quite good, but I don't know if it deserves anything higher than C tier, so it'll be at C tier. Next up we got ice. Now ice is a very good fruit. It's such an old fruit, but it's very underrated because of its stun skills and its new trident sword, and the stun skills is what makes it special. Although it does low damage, it's still good for PvP and grinding, so it deserves an A tier. Next we got sand. Sand is honestly a very good awakening fruit. The awakening just made it 10 times better. But sand isn't really for grinding, it's mainly for PvP, so because of that I have to put it at A tier, not S tier. Next thing we got is dark. Now dark is honestly such a good fruit. It's been there for a long time and has always been there for us, and the stun just makes it so good, and with its teleportation and a slight rework effects, it just deserves an S tier just for how good the stunning is. Next is revive fruit. Now revive fruit has actually very good stuns, but it does very low damage and has bad AoE, but the fact that it can give you a second life makes it OP, so I wouldn't put it any higher than B tier, so for that, B tier. Next up we got diamond. Now diamond, the only good thing about it is its transformation. Besides all that, it's not that much, and to be honest it's not really that good, so I think it has to go to C tier. Next up we got is light. Now as we all know, light is one of the best grinding fruits. I wouldn't say it's the best because I feel like butter is the best, but light is definitely probably the second best grinding fruit in the game. and because of just how much, like, lights helps us and stuff, and the flying is very good, so definitely deserves A tier. Next up we got is rubber fruit. Now rubber fruit, before the rework it was so bad, but after the rework, I'd say when you use the transformation, rubber is just a very good fruit. And I'd say rubber is just one of those fruit where it's only good if you know how to use it. So I wouldn't say I'll put it at A, but I'll put it at B. Next up we got is berry fruit. Now berry fruit hasn't even gotten any reworks, nor has it like it's been there for such a long time and no one uses it. So to be honest, it has to be a C tier. It's such a disappointment for a high value fruit. Next up we got is magma. Now after the rework, magma just got 20 times better. All the abilities do not knock back any NPCs, and it's the most damaging fruit in the game. And mix that with the awakening, it deserves a S tier because it's good for PvP and grinding. Next up we got is Quake. Now Quake is very good, although it's not really used till this day anymore. No one really uses it, just mainly because there was a lot of new fruits, but it doesn't really take out the value of how much Quake was back in the days when everyone used it. So it's still good. I just personally would have put it at S tier because just no one uses it anymore and there's better fruits. Next up we got Buddha. Now Buddha is one of the best grinding fruit in the game. Everyone uses Buddha. Literally you could just use your melee and you're good to go, and for that reason it deserves S tier. Also because you get a significant amount of defense, so without any questions, S tier for sure. Next up we got is love fruit. Now before, love was actually very good with its stunning skills, but after the rework it just got even better, with especially since you literally get an NPC to help you kill enemies, which is honestly very OP, as well as helping your teammates by using them to fly. So I'd say love goes to C tier, but maybe because of everything that happened I'd put it at B tier for now. Next up we got string. Now string got a recent rework, mainly just visual reworks, but they did kind of nerf it by a bit, but it wasn't really a big nerf. But string is very good for PvP, although it's not really that good with grinding. I still put it at A tier. Next up we got Phoenix. Now Phoenix is honestly very good. After the awakening it was just very good with its healing and high damages and its tapping ability. It's just A tier, has to be A tier. It's also good for PvP and grinding, just very OP. Next up we got is Portal. Now Portal is very good. It can teleport you to places. The damage is quite low, but the fact that it can teleport you to places and it has a lot of mobility, it deserves an S tier. Next up we got is Rumble. Now Rumble, ever since the rework of the X ability, no one really used it anymore because the AoE got even smaller, so Rumble did kind of get a nerf. But it doesn't really change the fact that Rumble was very good and is still very good. It's just that they did a slight nerf in the AoE, so I wouldn't be able to put it S tier, but definitely A tier because of its stunning abilities and its teleportation. Next up we got Paw Fruit. Now Paw Fruit is very outdated, no one uses it anymore, and Paw Fruit is just one of those fruits where if you know how to use it, it can actually be very OP. But not many people know how to master Paw, so I wouldn't have to give it a big rating like A tier, but B tier is a good thing. Next up is Blizzard. Now Blizzard, everyone was waiting for a new legendary fruit, expecting it to be very OP, but Blizzard was just a disappointment for how much the value was. And because of that, I can't put it more higher than A, but Blizzard is also a fruit there that you have to master to be able to make it very OP. So for that, I have to put it at only B tier. Next up, we got his Gravity. Now after the visual reworks, Gravity got a slight better. Even though it was just visual reworks, it just somehow felt easier to use. But it still does low damage and just is very hard to use. But if you know how to use it, then it can be very OP. But besides that, it has to be at C tier. Next thing we got is Doe. And Doe, after the awakening, just became deadly. Everyone was complaining about it on how OP it was. All the moves literally stun you, and it's just like a solar fruit. You don't need any melee. You can just use the fruit and you can still win battles. That's how OP it is. Next thing we got is Shadow. Now Shadow got outdated as well. Everyone used to use it and everyone used to say it was OP. But now everyone doesn't really use it anymore, and they say that it wasn't really good. I feel like Shadow is very OP if you do know how to use it. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to put it at S tier because of, you know, like how it is. But I'm gonna be putting it at B tier because personally, if you know how to use it, then you'll be OP with it. Next we got is Venom. Now Venom was toxic. When it first came out, everyone was complaining about the damage and everything, and they really did nothing about it. So Venom is definitely S tier. It just does so much damage, and the poison effect just makes it so good. Next thing we got is Control. Now Control is mainly used for trolling, but I feel like Control is also one of those fruits where if you know how to use it, then it's very OP. But Control definitely deserves an awakening, so if it got an awakening, I'll probably put it at A, but because of that, it has to be at B. Next up we got is Soul, which basically Spirit. So Spirit, after the rework, it honestly got a little bit worse, which isn't really in my favor, but if you know how to use it, then it's very good. So I think maybe it deserves an A tier rather than a B tier. Next thing we got is Dragon. Now Dragon is very OP. It was one of the first OP fruits in the game, and you know, it's just a classic and everyone complained about it, and because of its transformation, it deserves an S tier. Last but not least, we got Leopard. Now Leopard was honestly OP. I see so many people saying that, oh, Leopard is trash, oh, it was a disappointment. Maybe it was a little bit of a disappointment, but it's very OP. It's also one of those fruit where if you know how to use it, then you are deadly. Not even OP, you are deadly. Its tap ability makes it so good. But I'm gonna put it at A tier but not B tier. But this is where it should be. Anyways guys, thank you guys for watching my videos. If you have any feedback or anything, or like another opinion about this, please comment down below, and thank you guys for watching.